It is another very interesting episode of your show, Getting Real with Fina. Today on your show, we shall be discussing a very worrisome issue. Morals have been defined in different ways. What may be morally right to you may not apply to me. In every society, there are moral values and ethics. What is right and what is wrong? Hence, we suffer moral decay in our society. Today, we shall be discussing moral decay. Starting with Africa, which has a stronghold on moral and values. My question is, where did we get it all wrong? And how can we redeem ourselves from this menace that has engulfed our society? My name is Fina Ahime. I am your host on your show, Getting Real with Fina. We shall be right back.
To keep up with the show, visit www.toursTV.tv. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at TourSpace.tv. Join the conversation on social media and like us on Facebook at Official Toush TV. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Official Toush TV. We love to hear from you.
Welcome back to your show, Getting Real with Fina. Today, to be discussing moral decay with me in this studio, I have a traditional ruler and a university don, Chief Dr. Christian Akani. Chief, you are welcome to my studio and my village. Chief, Meka o.
Dear Livado, dear Livado. Yeri amma.
Chief, don't go too far. Welcome, Eze. Before we start to talk about moral decay, I want to first of all ask, I know you are a traditional ruler. I want us to talk about that first of all.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Eze Christian Akane.
Okay.
The paramount ruler of Umevolu community.
Wow.
And I am Eze with the fourth. That means you have the first, the second, the third, and I am the fourth. I am also a lecturer in the political science department at Ignatius Ajoro University of Education. I teach political theory in that school.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome once again to the studio.
Thank you.
I looked around our society. I came to understand that or see that the morality in our society has gone haywire. Things have changed. And I know what may be morally wrong to me may be right to another person. But there are some things that everybody in general will agree that this is wrong or this is right. Eze, please tell us, what is morality?
Thank you very much. And I want to thank Rumufina, as you said,
yes, Rumufina,
for inviting me here. And also to say that I am very happy that I have a Pan-Africanist around me.
Yeah.
Sometime in the 1920s, a man called George Padmore wrote a book. The name of the book is Pan-Africanism or Communism, an Ideology for Africa. And it is interesting to know that what he wrote in the 19th century is prominent even in the 21st century. That the only ideology that will streamline the developmental pattern of Africa is Pan-Africanism. And that, in a nutshell, is what you are doing. I commend their effort. Before we go into that, it may interest you to know that morals or ethics does not stand alone. They are a subset of something, and that is culture. Many sociologists and anthropologists have defined culture in many ways, but I want to limit it to the one of late Professor Iken and Zimiro. and Radcliffe Brown. In a nutshell, they said the culture of a place epitomizes the totality of the activities of that place. It defines their life. In other words, if you examine a culture of a particular place, it will be easy for you to say, this man is from this place, the other man is from the other place. Culture gives a people an identity.
Yeah.
It gives them happiness. Culture has two strong components. It is universal. In other words, there is no community in this world you say they don't have any culture.
Yeah.
Even though some colonial anthropologists in those days were describing Africa as a stateless society, but that has been disproved. Culture is also particularistic.
Culture is particularistic.
Yes.
Wow.
In other words, there's a culture that is particular to a particular community.
Okay.
Let's say Equatorial ethnic nationality, that's one aspect of their culture that does not obtain outside land, or Yoruba ethnic nationality. But at the same time, if you look at those, it defines who they are.
Yeah.
Now, culture has components. One of them is politics, religion, aesthetics, music, masquerades, songs, and ethics, values. So you see that you cannot discuss ethics and values in isolation of culture, because while culture may be the macrocosm, ethics could be the microcosm of culture. Now we are limiting ourselves to the microcosm of culture, and also limiting ourselves to African culture, which is very important. You have already said it. Ethics and values defines how a people adjudge something good or something is bad. For instance, in the land of the Eskimos, if you visit them, if I visit an Eskimo now, the best treatment he will give me is to allow me sleep with his wife. Wow. But to other people, it is very archaic, unreligious, unnatural. It is part of their culture. Even research has proved that even in Nigeria, there are some communities that do that. You can't condemn them. It's part of their culture. But one other aspect of culture is that it phases with the dialectical movement of time, with the historical movement of people. You get what I'm saying? So, that Africa has a culture means that Africa has a standard in which they say this thing is bad or this thing is good. Part of the things we do as Africans is that when a child wakes up in the morning, he will say to the elders, good morning. Like in the Ikore language, Ehuala way. Like in Hausa, they will say, Sanu or Salam Aleikum, like that. It shows respect to an elder. We do it. Again, African value believe that a child is not the child of a particular family. It's a child of the society. In other words, when you see a child going astray, it is incumbent on you to correct that child. Because if you don't correct that child, you believe that an abstract punishment will come from you.
Yes.
The gods of the land will punish you.
Yes.
And that is why everything is organized. Africans believe that, like the Stoics, who believe in the brotherhood of man, that there's a natural law governing this world. Africa also believes that if you do anything wrong, the gods of the land will punish you. And that governs our marriage, it governs our interpersonal relationship, and governs our communal mode of production, which is very, very important. The way we relate with matter, the way we relate with the environment in terms of our exchange, production, consumption of goods and services, All these things influence our ethics, our values. And before colonialism came, Africa was intact. Even some colonial writers have mentioned when they came here, Africa was on a transition to another level. The Benin Empire, the Ghana Empire, and many other empires had their own ways of doing things, indigenous to Africa. But at a point in time, which we will discuss, something happened. And this is why that concept which you have mentioned, decay, has set in. And if something is not done, like people are doing now, well, like one of my elders would say, Africa will run bararamba.
Thank you very much, Ezi. How can we conduct ourselves within the bonds of morality?
Yeah. First of all, we have started it here. Okay. The room of Fina, we have started it. Obama has even said it. Know your identity.
Yes.
Before Obama became president, he discovered that he was a man turned into two contradictory worlds. The world of the white man and the world of the black man. And he sought his identity by reading back his history. He went to Kenya. He read all the civil rights movements, right from Frederick Douglass to Martin Luther King Jr. And he said, I've discovered myself. And he went to the blacks. You shouldn't be first in sports, in boxing, and all these things. You should also be first in science and technology. What they are telling us is that we should be proud of ourselves. Like Edward Bleeding said, we should take pride in the historical achievement of Africa. Like Marcus Garvey said, only the good is best enough for Africa. Africa, black is beautiful.
Yes.
At what point do we relinquish all these things? It was at the point of colonial intervention.
Yes, because I was going to ask, where exactly did we get it from?
Yeah. At the point in the 15th century, after industrial revolution, in the 17th going to the 18th century, industrial revolution brought a lot of good and a lot of negativities in Europe. One of it was unemployment, the army of unemployed people. Two, the machines needed raw materials to be serviced. Three, the products were brought in abundance. Where are we going to sell them? In fact, a man called C.C. Rhodes warned the leaders of Britain, if you don't want any civil war in this country, more than 40 million unemployed people I'm seeing here, they will cause us unrest. Therefore, what you will do is to be an imperialist. Go to foreign lands and acquire land. So they decided to come here, legitimize what they came for with flimsy excuses that we are fetish worshippers, that we are uncivilized, that we don't know science and technology, that we cannot enter the kingdom of God. So with that, they have to prepare us to enter the kingdom of God. And that was how they brought their own ideology, their own ethics, which was based on what I call possessive individualism, in contradiction to our own communal mode of life, in contradiction to our own marriage. It is sad to see that Africans are engaging in gay. You know what I mean by gay?
Yes.
A man marrying a man.
Yes.
Africans are engaging in lesbianism. A woman marrying a woman. It was at that point, up to now, with what the so-called globalization. And our people are infested with this colonial mentality that anything that comes from the West is the best. I have been to almost parts of the world, and I've seen that Africa is rich in our history.
That is very obvious in my view.
Yes, and that is why I am at home. I can even stay here for the rest
Of
5
the
years.
day.
I won't bother.
Thank
So,
you.
what we, as to respond to your question, is that we should, Romu Finance should be able to identify other people that have the same kind of feeling like Romu Finance
Yes.
and begin to propagate this thing.
So gradually, sir, my room of fina is becoming a reality.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Outside, how many people identify with us?
Yeah.
Today, marriage is now becoming a business of two
Business,
people.
Yes.
Like in the West, you can marry in a day, you can marry 10 times because it's part of according to them, it's part of their fundamental human rights.
Yes.
For us, marriage
Has
is
become
between
part of their
communities.
Yes.
Marriage is between communities. And that day when they will give you your wife,
Yes.
the wife will not be given to you, it will be given to the oldest man in the family
Yes.
who
Very
is serving as a
very true.
custodian. Like in Ikwere, we will say, for lack of better explanation, I will speak it in my language.
Okay.
Maa olu n'ehihie, jụwa nwe nwa olu n'abalị, nwe olu n'abalị. In other words,
Beautiful.
as the oldest man, my duty is to marry you in the afternoon.
Wow.
The husband will marry in the night,
Wow.
which means he has been given a responsibility to see that there's peace in that family. And when there's peace in the family, peace will gradually permeate the whole community.
Okay.
And that was why, before colonialism, there was peace in the community. Today, you could see a child get up in the morning, see you walk past.
Okay.
So what we have to do is to tell them that what we are getting from the West is polluted. We have to rejuvenate our African life. Greet your elders. Take your neighbor as yourself. That is the kernel of our culture. Take your neighbor as yourself. Don't engage in excessive materialism.
Okay.
You must get money by all means. It's against African culture. Killing your neighbor for money. Engaging in stealing. I remember in the community here at Mboba, a woman can go to her neighbor's farm and take vegetable. Come to you in the house. I took vegetable. Oh, I used to prepare okra soup. Or she may not have garri. She will say, I will fry my own garri on Friday. Give me 1 basin of garri. You will willingly give. But now, it's
The
not like
reverse
that.
is the case.
So we have to be proud first with our culture. And finally, families must have enough responsibilities. But I may not blame them to a large extent because the mode of production we are having now has completely torn every person apart.
Thank you so much, Eze. I'm going to ask you what really has informed the kind of moral value we hold in Africa. But we shall be doing that when we return. We shall be right back.
To keep up with the show, visit www.tourstv.tv. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Tourspace TV. Join the conversation on social media and like us on Facebook at Official Toush TV. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Official Toush TV. We love to hear from you.
Welcome back to your show, Getting Real with Fina. In case you are just joining us, we are talking about moral decay in our society today. And I still have my wonderful guest, Chief Dr. Christian Akani. Chief, thank you for still hanging around. Before we went on break, I was trying to ask what informed the kind of beautiful moral values we hold in Africa that is trying to, decay now.
Yeah. As I said here, in the society we have what you call the superstructure
Okay.
and the substructure. These two concepts have organic link, and they are responsible for the survival of the society. Why the superstructure may have some influence on the substructure. The substructure influences what happens at the superstructure. And for Africa, our substructure was communal. It was based on communal mode of production, in which property was owned communally.
Okay.
You do not own land, you do not own house. What the community would do, at every farming season, the community, the young man will gather and they give you your own. Men, we were doing it in Boba here, you see. But at the moment when property was privatized, especially when colonialism intervened, that was when this pollution came in our culture. Because the communal mode of production was in tandem with our culture. But with the private ownership of means of production now, it is now antithetical to African culture. That is why you have this contradiction coming in. It may be difficult to understand, but that is the reality. A primary example is, you see in a family, the first son has his own property defined by the law of the land. When the man dies, he don't share that property. For instance, the man's bedroom is owned by the first son, the man's parlor is owned by the first son, his last gun, his last shirt, shoe. At the end of the day, he now serves as a custodian of the family, especially the youngest wife, who must be young. But today, those things doesn't take place again. If the last one has money more than every other person, he now connives and takes over the whole property. Because the prevailing mode of production is ownership of private property. The more money you have, the more influence you have in the society. But in our own society, the older you are, it's assumed that the older you are, the more knowledge you have, and the closer you are to the ancestors.
How do we eradicate what is going on now?
Yeah.
What do we do?
Having understood the root cause of our problem, 50% of the problem is solved.
Okay.
For me, as a Pan-Africanist and a political scientist, I will say we have to go back to the ideology of Pan-Africanism,
Okay.
which evokes this racial pride,
Okay.
which believes in acculturation, but only picking, because culture is not static, but only picking those things that will enrich our culture. If you like, cultural pride, to take pride in what is African. Like as you're addressing now, anytime I travel, I don't put on what you may call coats. I wear the Accra. And the last time I just came back 3 days ago.
I know, I was in your house. Okay. I was in your palace.
Okay, the admiration I got, just wearing simple Nigeria made, and my son, the people were admiring me.
Yes.
So it is only when we take pride in what is African,
Yes,
that you can begin to solve the other part of the 50% of the problem.
yes.
I see many governments talk about culture. They relate it to dance. No. Dance is aspect. What is our behavior? If we are Pan-Africanists in the way we behave, we cannot be stealing money as politicians.
Yes, very true.
We cannot be winning contracts for our community and refuse to do it.
Yes.
We cannot be seeing poor people around our community, and I am the only person that has money, the only person that has car. But in the morning, I will see people trekking to go to that place. Yet I cannot come down to carry them. It's all Pan-African. Now, with knowledge, as I said, culture is not static.
Eze, please, can we take
Okay.
Let me bring water from my
Okay,
fridge.
bring the water while we are talking.
Okay.
Culture is not static.
Okay.
We are the 21st century.
Okay.
what I'm saying happened at the 15th, 16th century. So it's also ideal for us to remove those aspects of culture
Okay.
that are injurious to natural justice now.
Okay.
That is why I am saying killing of twins is no more advisable.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Just as I said, having many wives is no more advisable
Okay.
within the present epoch.
Okay.
Killing of twins is no more advisable. But that is not enough to condemn what our ancestors did, because they did it according to their own level of appreciation of nature and knowledge.
Thank you so much. I pray I'll be able to have you again. And to you out there, especially to my African brothers and African sisters, how much of your cultures and values do you know and practice? Go home and have a rethink, especially on identity. Do you know your identity? Are you proud of who you are? This is where I draw the curtain for today. Do not forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check our website. To my crew, I say thank you very much for making this episode a possible one. And for you Virgin Stitches, thank you for making my African clothes beautiful. And to Africa and the world, I say thank you, I love you, bye-bye. I salute.